So a lot of conversations have been coming up recently, and one of them being that a guy was telling me that his nephew had a lady, and they had a discussion about, like what was going to happen after she, had their first kid. Apparently she, obviously wanted to grow her family and become a mom, and she told her soon to be fiance, husband, whatever, that she wanted to stay home with her baby after she had her first kid, right? And her soon to be husband, fiance, whatever, told her no, he doesn't want that to happen because his job can't support the two of them. And that she was going to have to work even after she just gave birth, right? And it just got me thinking, and it got me so enraged. It just got me so angry because the fact that this is really the common rhetoric out there, that men are so weakened and men have no idea about how any of this stuff works, and how they have been so enslaved and brainwashed to a system just as much as women have, that they feel like they are not able to provide fully for their growing family. And if a wife wants to stay home with her baby, which is her God-given right to, and the smartest and wisest decision that she could ever make, that is really what is happening so commonly right now. And it's just heartbreaking to me to hear these things. But there's, of course, a lot of things to discuss here and unfold. So, for one, this was never a conversation for me and any woman and man and husband and wife in my family. I come from a generation of women who have always stayed home with their babies and just been stay-at-home moms their whole life, and sometimes would work and sometimes would not work, and just had the full freedom to be at home and just decide if they want to be in the career world or not, right? Well, obviously generations are much much different now, and that's not really the common story here told in the Western world. So what I responded to him when he first initially told me that, that was like the issue of this woman and his nephew, right? I was like, good for her. Good for her. Good for her for standing her ground and being so firm in her, values and where she stood on that she was not willing to stay with a man that didn't want to be the full provider or didn't have the same goals ahead and goals for their family in mind and the same value system for themselves, right? Because at the end of the day, when you're unaligned in those values, it can get really, really, really tricky to navigate through that. And, I have so many girls that do come to me and they, unfortunately say how they're dealing with situations right now where they got with their husband whenever they were in their masculine hustle boss babe kind of mode, wanting to pursue their career, of course, right? And then they get married and they decide that they have they have a different outlook of their life and what they want for themselves and their family. And when they do end up having their first child, they realize that they want a more feminine, soft lifestyle. They don't want to be outside of the home. They want to be at home with their babies. And I was just talking to someone the other day as well about this kind of thing, and I was telling her about how little girls in my own family, how it's going to end up being for them, that even though they're in their hustle pursuit boss babe kind of mode right now of going to college and working all these several jobs, that eventually they're gonna not use their degrees that they're out achieving right now, and they're gonna want to have their babies with their husband and settle down and just be at home with them, and that's okay. And she was just kind of giving me some pushback about it. I'm like, you don't you don't hear the stories of women that I do, okay? I put myself out here on the internet and talk about these very important topics, and then I get feedback in real life stories of women coming to me for help and for guidance and advice for when they do end up, wanting to settle down their life and live a more feminine lifestyle of being at home with their children, right? So there was some pushback in that conversation there, but I'm telling you that these things are really happening, and women are really like having to open their eyes and see for themselves that what they thought that they wanted in the beginning was actually not what they wanted once they found their life partner and started growing their families. So anyways, kudos to that lady for, standing her ground and leaving this guy, just simply because they were not aligned in that way, and she knew that she wanted to be at home with her babies. But what I will say too is that this is really pathetic for a man to, not understand how this stuff works, okay? Because here's what men need to understand is that when you are out here doing God's work, when you are out here, doing the work of the Lord and, being a hard worker and staying faithful and committed to your job and having a consistent income, that when you finally do start having your children and growing your family and you're raising these kids to be wholesome, valuable, productive members of society, wholesome, people of God in this world, is that God will provide for you and your family in ways that you cannot even imagine. He will come to you with abundance of opportunities and ways to make money, right? When you are walking the path of God and what He ordains for our lives, and that is raising wholesome individuals, and having like good family, strong family units, that you don't know what's to come in the future for you and the family, and what opportunities he's going to bring, just simply by following the path of Him and the desire for the woman to be at home with her babies and raising them full time, right? I am literally watching currently my sister go through all of this, okay? Because my sister has 2 babies and she is fully at home with them. And she does have a degree, okay? She can work whenever she wants to. Her husband doesn't want her to work. He wants her to be at home with her babies right now. And that's exactly where she needs to be. And she's happy. She's happy doing that. She wants to have even more babies, okay? So I'm watching this unfold right now in front of my eyes. So if you believe that you can't, if you are a man and you believe that you cannot provide fully for your family based off of your income right now, then you need to go reflect on some things and reflect on your life and understand that you don't need to be worrying about the future and when that time does come, because God will bring blessings and abundance into your life when you decide to commit to following Him and His word and His path. I am preaching so hard to you guys right now, but I just can't. I feel so strongly about these kinds of topics because I watched my family, all do this, and how we have such strong morals and value systems, and how just different, my life style and just my belief systems are from people that I do encounter on the daily, and how much healthier, we all do come out of it when there is a strong family unit, and the man is being the sole provider and the woman is being at home and having full involvement with her kids, right? As she does desire. Any woman that doesn't desire to be at home with her babies after she gives birth is literally lying. Okay, she is lying, and she's probably just trying to please, the people in her life or her husband, if her husband is fearful to end up taking on all the financial responsibilities. And so yeah, it's just a flat out lie that women have been sold and brainwashed into. Anyways, so some of the things that you need to understand when you are, like, if he becomes the sole provider of the family, yes, you might have to end up sacrificing some things, okay? Especially if he's young and he's, working that 9 to 5 job and working for someone else, and he's not growing a business, yes, there are some things that you might need to sacrifice. As I'm saying, I'm literally watching my sister and things go through it. They have everything they need. They have a beautiful house, fully furnished. They have they go on trips, maybe once or twice a year. They always have food on the table, and always clothes on their backs and their children's backs. Like, the children are never without, right? And they solely live on her husband's income. Now, of course, they always have family, like, as backup if it ever need be, which he has not ever needed that yet. But family is always also providing, right? The people like me and my mom, like all the grandparents and the aunts and stuff, are always also providing for the children, as in they're buying them gifts, they're buying them necessities, diapers, clothes on their back. Like, they always are provided for. And that's what we have to get through our brains, is that you're never alone in this journey. You always have a community of people to help you and help provide for you. And like I said, God will always send those people to help provide for you. You will never be without when you have God on your side and you are doing the work of the Lord. So again, some of the things that he also might have to do is, one, move the family, right? So let's say, if you're currently in a space where it's really, really expensive to live, or you're in a city that is really expensive to live in order to provide for the family, he might have to uproot and move you to a different city, a smaller town, a smaller area where the houses and the apartments and the rents are cheaper, right? Another thing that he might do is he might end up having to take on another job, a second job, a side hustle, something in order to make a little bit more income, in order to provide for you and the family, right? There are so many different ways and things that men really have to, it kind of has to be like triggered and initiated, not triggered and initiated. It has to be kind of activated within them in order to see all the ways that they can find to provide. So don't be so sure, if you are a man, that you absolutely don't want to, or feel like you cannot provide because you're walking in fear currently, right? There are so many different ways that you will figure out inevitably once you become a father, that you will be able to provide for your family. And then in the end, you will see a much healthier, stronger family unit, a much better, healthier child when you take that path and take on all the responsibility financially and allow the mother of your children to be solely in the home and raising those children full time. And I mean, there's also nothing wrong with supplementing, and the woman even finding ways to make money through online, or even just having her own business of selling something. If she's a baker, baking goodies and then selling them. If she's knows how to knit, selling her things that she knits and crafts together. There are just so many different outlets and ways to make money, especially in this culture now, that don't limit yourself to just this 9 to 5 job that could actually not be a secure, stable place in the first place. And expand your mind, expand your thinking, get out of this fear, get out of this box mentality that you have been so indoctrinated into and enslaved into in your mind that is not helping you to prosper and seek and even be able to notice abundance in the works of the Lord and what He wants for our lives and our careers and our jobs and our family units. Okay, are you following me here? Am I making sense? Another thing too for men, like being providers and able to make it work for living on his income alone, even if it is just for a temporary time of while the babies are very, very young, is that, even if he gets vehicles passed down to him from the grandparents or older generations, like these things happen when you have family and they start dying off. You end up receiving a lot of the things that what made their home a home and what made their lives easier and more efficient, right? And so, for example, my grandma's husband, he just passed away, and he has a vehicle that is inevitably going to be passed down to one of the grandchildren or one of the children who needs it. And it's, that's also a way that God provides for us. So I guess the point is don't be so sure and don't limit yourself to all the possibilities that will come with once you do become a father and a mother and decide to be at home and letting the man be the sole provider, right? Don't limit yourself to the possibilities and the abundance that is coming your way when you do follow that path, okay? When you go from a lifestyle of maybe buying whatever you want and having all the nicest cars and the newest iPhones, and you're going on trips once a month and you're buying all these brand new clothes and Gucci handbags, like if you're going from that lifestyle, right, and then you have to like kind of lower yourself into a more minimal lifestyle where you're only living off of one income maybe, and you don't have all of those luxuries, it's going to be uncomfortable for a while. That rubber band has to be able to like stretch, right? That rubber band has to stretch itself, and that can be a little bit painful and uncomfortable. But you will adjust. You will adjust to it. You will see the immense value once you do adjust and sit with what is going to ultimately be better for you and your family's life, especially looking towards the future of their life and their integrity and their health. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say for this video, because I'm about to be cut off. So hopefully you found this to be helpful. Leave a comment down below if you have any recommendations or questions about any of this kind of stuff, okay? Until the next video, I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you.